Hey guys, how's it going? I hope you guys are having a good weekend because this is when I'm recording it. So, therapy and counseling, something I mentioned in my last video that I said I would talk about, and I'm glad I am. And I'm speaking from experience as well. So, yeah, I mean, the basic thing for me is to start off with is I view therapy and counseling just like you'd view the gym for your muscles. Therapy and counseling is for your mind. You know, we go to the gym, you know, to keep healthy, to obviously grow our muscles and feel better. And the same with the therapy and counseling. I mean, obviously not the same frequency, but you know, it's just to make sure your mind is in a healthy state, you know, and you know, just to check up on that. It doesn't have to be as often, um, and to get around the kind of misconception that therapy or counseling, I'll just say therapy now. You get what I mean. Therapy is kind of for people who have problems. I mean, we will have problems, but as in serious problems. You know, like if you're like depressed or suicidal, or there's like major shit going on in your life. Like that doesn't necessarily have to be the case. Like you can go and see a therapist, and therapy can just be just as relevant when things are going well in your life, um, as well as if when things are going bad. So I think mental health, especially in the UK, has obviously gotten better, and we're talking about it more. And you know, we're asked to be we're kind of trying to accept more, to be more emotionally open and talk about our thoughts and feelings, etc. So yeah, now therapy, you know, can just be viewed like that in the same way the gym can be viewed. So talking about my personal experience, I decided I wanted to go and see a counsellor, um, because for a number of reasons. One, I never really done it before that much. Maybe like once at uni, just like one time, just called because I was having a bit of a bad night. So that was a while ago. Um, but now I was feeling in a good place. So for me, like one point was I was feeling in a good place, so it'd be nice to actually just kind of check in that while things are going well, actually, let's just check in and just kind of try and keep the momentum going. Like I was in a happy place, I was feeling pretty happy with work, social life, feeling happy with myself. You know, I was in a routine, wasn't really getting down that much, so I thought, yeah, why don't we just go and keep that momentum going and just check myself out. Um, and then two as well, some family and friends, quite a few, were having kind of problems, and you know I was trying to help them out. But you have to realize obviously how much you can help people, right? Um, you know, you can be supportive, you can listen to them, you can give advice, etc. But know the limitation of how much you can help, and also how much like time and energy is required to really help someone who's in a really really bad situation. And sometimes you might not be able to offer that, um, or you might, whether that's time or capacity, or whether it's just you're not capable of doing so, and therefore you know it should kind of be an objective for you to kind of still support them and still give time to them, etc. But then more so, the objective is to try and actually encourage them to go to do counselling, because then that's kind of the last step of help that they'll need, especially if it's a serious problem. So I wanted to do it, so that I could try and normalize it to my friends and some of my friends and family, and then also say to them as well, I've done it, and it's completely fine. It's really helpful. So you know, I really recommend it to you. So if they know that someone's done it, they're probably going to be more inclined to do it, and also you're going to be more believable and kind of have a better understanding of the counselling when you actually go and do it. So those were like the two main reasons I was doing it. The final addition one, which kind of links to the first one, is just it's nice to check up on myself, but also there are issues that I've had, like everyone has, over the years, things that kind of plagued me particularly during teenage years, which I've definitely got better at dealing with and no longer kind of a significant issue for me, but still an issue. And I thought, well, you know, it'd be even better if I can even kind of just like flatten out this additional kink, you know. So yeah, those are the reasons why I wanted to do it. And yeah, it's been really, really good so far. And you know, my girlfriend's kind of doing it now as well, and she's finding it really helpful. I'm trying to get my sister involved. Some of my friends and family have been doing it, and they found it really useful. And it's been refreshing because even if you have people who are really close to you, and you can share everything with, which I'm lucky enough to have, it's just nice as well, like to have a counsellor who has this objective view, who has no idea about your situation, like who you are or anything. And so, yeah, they're kind of more of an outside, and then whatever you say to them has no repercussions on your life at all, social, whatever. You know, it's kind of like, you know, a priest with like confession, where, you know, everything is just kept within that one space, and you can say literally anything. You know, even if it makes you feel like a terrible human being, you can just say anything, and that's been a beauty for me as well. There's nothing that I've kind of fundamentally said, maybe a few things where I have said to the counsellor which I haven't said to friends or family, like everyone. There is a case where I'll say exactly what I said to the counsellor to, say, my girlfriend or some other close friends. But yeah, that's nice, and it's just kind of, you don't have to think about burdening people, etc., because the counsellor is just, that's their job, and they're equipped at that. And of course, you don't have that emotional connection, so there's no damage on that part, so you can really let loose, and that's really nice to feel unconstrained. The only person who constrains yourself is yourself, and that's still a significant constraint, but once you build up enough trust with a counsellor and see the benefits of being open and honest, you really do start to let loose and talk about anything, literally anything, even the most deepest, darkest thoughts that you have. And it's just such a relief, because if we talked about in the past about pain and anger and everything like that, if you do not let it out, if you do not express those emotions, pain and anger or whatever frustrations don't just go away. You can't just put them in a box and pretend like they're not going to have a profound impact on you. It is like a dark tar, like a dark black hole in you, and if you don't address it, over time it gets bigger and bigger, so that it warps your personality, your thoughts, your beliefs. But it's so slow you don't even realise it. And that's why, again, counselling, you know, can be such an effective method for people. And to give you different perspectives as well, because the purpose of the counsellor or a therapist is not to kind of listen to you and just kind of go, here's your problems, here's how to do it, here's like problem solution, you know, you should do this, you do this wrong. It's not that. Like 9 times out of 10, the majority of the conversation with therapists or counsellors is they will listen to you, which is the big part of it, because you're trying to get stuff off your chest. And they just ask you the right questions to make maybe questions you haven't asked yourself ever before, give you a different perspective. And ultimately, you are the person who actually has the answers to a lot of your problems. It's just we get in the way ourselves so much, and we get so kind of caught up in like deep negative thought so much, we get in the way of those answers. So a therapist or a counsellor helps you with that. They kind of they ask questions in the right way, so that you can make you really think and go, I never thought about it that way, or actually I never thought about that question, and now when I think about the answer, actually that makes more sense. So it is fantastic, and it's like really kind of like an aha moment when you have those conversations, and then they go, well, what do you think about this though? And it's like, oh, I never thought about that. And then you end up solving your own problems, and of course when you solve your own problems, you are more likely going to be impacted by them. You're going to have more of a incentive and feel more like even unconsciously likely to actually engage with those kind of different thoughts or feelings or solutions or approaches that you've come up with, rather than if someone tells you how to behave. We tend not to fully take that on. It's only when we decide ourselves how we want to act, how we want to even change, that's when we truly make those changes. You know, it's not other people. Other people can't change us. It's only it's in our hands whether we decide what we do, how we think, what we believe. And so a counsellor or a therapist is great at that. And it's just really refreshing. And even though, you know, you'll talk to like some of the most trusted people in your life, when you do like kind of profess, you know, like some of the feelings that you have, sometimes, you know, that people can go, you know, or like respond like, oh yeah, I see what you're saying, etc. But there's always that little niggling doubt of like, they're kind of hearing me, but are they actually listening? And do they actually really get what I'm saying? You know. But with a counsellor, the great thing that happens is you can, because it's their job, you can really tell they are intently listening to every single word that you say, and they're really starting to kind of try and derive meaning out of what you're saying. You know, like the focus is next level. You know, it's quite a lot of energy, and that's why they're so good at what they do. You know, your best friends can, or your family members can provide that, but not all the time. Sometimes there's just conversations where they're not capable of that, but a counsellor is pretty on it all the time, and you know that they're listening like really intently by the questions they ask you. Because, you know, maybe I've been rambling on for like 10 minutes and then they ask me a question about something I mentioned in the second minute. It's like, wow, they remembered. And also they've asked me a question about a very, very specific thing which I didn't even really consider either. And, you know, the only way they were able to actually like ask that very specific question, rather kind of a generic question of like, how do you feel about that or anything, they ask you like, oh, so you mentioned when you were saying to this friend about this, why do you think you were asking that in the first place, and why did that make you feel, and what were you kind of looking for there? And it's like, wow, you know, they really remembered that, so it shows that they're kind of listening intently. And I have found with a counsellor, like, sometimes that, well, again, because it's their job, they are better at listening than, you know, kind of people that you normally encounter in life. And they really do kind of, and those questions just show like, wow, actually, you know, they really were kind of, you know, hearing what I was saying and trying to like, understand my feelings and everything like that. So that's kind of quite reassuring compared to a conversation where you might be rattling on and someone just goes, I see what you're saying, right at the end, and it's just kind of like, well, you've not really tried to kind of engage with what I've said or ask any questions, you know, or anything like that. So you kind of have the little doubts of like, oh, how much they're listening, how much they really want to help. So yeah, counsellors really good at that. Therapists really good at that. And yeah, I really recommend it. Whatever stage you are in life or in your head, whether you feel depressed or either you feel happy or you feel samey, do it. And I'm going to drop a link in the description below. The thing that I use, it's called The Mix. That was one of the other things as well that why I wanted to look into counselling is, and before I finish this video, is a lot of people, when they're tentative about counselling, they, you know, the barriers to actually get counselling also deter them. Like if you're already hesitant about it, having to pay for it and having to spend time looking for it and having to spend time to do like forms and stuff immediately puts you off. So I also wanted to find a free counselling service with a very simple way to register so that, you know, you can't have like hesitation, you know, it's just like complete through to make the appointment. You know, like with Amazon where it's so easy to make a purchase that you don't have enough time to even really kind of think, oh, do I want to purchase this or not? It's the same with this counselling thing. Like if you can lower the barriers and you can make it just like a 1-minute job, it's great. And so The Mix was great because it's literally like a form that takes a minute to fill in. As soon as you fill in the form, it gives you available time slots for when you can have an appointment, and you just click it and then that's it. And then you just get sent an email to confirm whether you have 4 slots or whether you choose 8 slots planned every week, and then you get told who the counsellor is, and then you just wait for the phone call, and that's it really. It's so simple. And so when I was recommending it, when I wanted to recommend counselling to friends, etc., I would just want to say, look, here, just click on that link, Just fill in the information in a minute and you'll have a counselling session. Just do it now. Don't even think about it. You know, don't even like allow yourself to kind of try and be hesitant or procrastinate with it. You know, you can just do it super easy and it's free. And so yeah, it's been great and people have definitely kind of taken to it. So yeah, I really recommend it. It's in the description below. I'm currently 4 sessions in. I can maybe talk about in another video kind of what I have been discussing with my counsellor and how good I've been finding it. But it's been really, really helpful. I want to say thank you to my counsellor as well. It really helped me because actually I had the counsellor. I did my first session a week before I found out about my dad being diagnosed with cancer. Because again, I was doing it originally for all those points that I made earlier. So luckily for me, it was good timing that I'd already started my counselling when I found about my dad's cancer. So that enabled me to deal with the whole news and the situation so much better because I was able to actually talk about it with my counsellor. So that was quite nice actually how that lined up pretty well. And I extended my 4 sessions to 8 sessions because discussing that and discussing other stuff. And it just enabled me to help me in a healthy way, which I discussed in my previous video. So yeah, as always, these videos always go longer than I expected them to, but there's always points I kind of forget and want to mention because I think they're all important. So yeah, in the description below, the mix, I really recommend it. And let me know, because obviously I know it's only a few friends who listen to this. There's only friends who do listen, who do decide to take it up. Let me know. I'd love to hear your experience because, yeah, trust me, it's probably one of the best things you can do. And it's just no commitment whatsoever. It's like an hour a week, you know, and you can obviously cancel whenever you want. So yeah, I hope you guys have a good week. And I don't know what video I'm going to do next. We'll see. Have a good one, guys.